Head over to thebestsongever.com and purchase our new hit, Together Again. It is a cover of Smokey Mike and the God King. That's Jeremy Boring and Michael Knowles. And with your help, we will smash our way onto the Billboard charts. From Raw's Alerts, running candidate Vivek G. Ramaswamy has pledged to withdraw from the Colorado GP primary unless Trump is also allowed to be on the state's ballot. Additionally, he has demanded that Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, and Nikki Haley do the same immediately. Bravo, good sir.
Man.
Commendable.
He is basically just laid it down. I mean, he's everyone's before they can blink.
Yeah.
He's making that chess play. Now, Ron, Chris Christie, or Nikki Haley, who remains, I bet their polling drops. I bet people look at them as dishonorable for this. Look, you don't have to like Trump, but there's going to be a lot of Republicans who are upset they don't get a choice.
Yes.
You're being told by Colorado, we don't care what you think. You don't get a right to choose. Vivek is standing up. And he makes a really great point. In this long Twitter thread, Vivek tweets, "This is what an actual attack on democracy looks like. In an un-American, unconstitutional, and unprecedented decision, a cabal of Democrat judges are barring Trump from the ballot in Colorado. Having tried every trick in the book to eliminate President Trump from running in this election, the bipartisan establishment is now employing a new tactic to bar him from ever holding office again, the 14th Amendment. I pledge to withdraw from the Colorado GOP primary unless Trump is also allowed to be on the state's ballot, and I demand that Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, and Nikki Haley do the same immediately, or else they are tacitly endorsing this illegal maneuver, which will have disastrous consequences for our country. Today's decision is the latest election interference tactic to silence political opponents and swing the election for whatever puppet the Democrats put up this time by depriving Americans of the right to vote for their candidate of choice. The 14th Amendment was part of the Reconstruction Amendments that were ratified following the Civil War. It was passed to prohibit former Confederate military and political leaders from holding high federal or state office. These men had clearly taken part in a rebellion against the United States, the Civil War. That makes it all more absurd that a left-wing group in Colorado is asking a federal court to disqualify the 45th president on the same grounds, equating his speech to rebellion against the U.S. And there's another legal problem. Trump is not a former officer of the United States, as that term is used in the Constitution, meaning Section 3 does not apply. As the Supreme Court explained in Free Enterprise Fund v. Public Company Accounting Oversight Board in 2010, quote, "An officer of the United States is someone appointed by the president to aid him in his duties under Article 2, Section 2. The term does not apply to elected officials and certainly not to the president himself." The framers of the 14th Amendment would be appalled to see this narrow provision intended to bar former U.S. officials who switched to the Confederacy from seeking public office, being weaponized by a sitting president and his political allies to prevent a former president from seeking re-election. Our country is becoming unrecognizable to our founding fathers.
Has there ever been a time when someone was prevented from being on a ballot in American history? I can't think of any.
I don't think it's ever been used.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not in any legitimate, like, large-scale kind of way. You know, maybe there was some, like, a criminal was trying to do something and then they made a filing. I don't know. I'd imagine it had to be.
I think the 14th has been used.
Yeah, not the 14th.
I could be wrong. I'm sure somebody on the internet will fact check us. This statement by Vivek is fantastic, and how fast he put that out, not just considering how much length and information he put in there is great, but in politics, a lot of times you get told, hey, wait, don't come out right away. Let's test this. Let's see if this is going to work out. You know, maybe Trump going to take it off the ballot. It's going to be good for you. Let's give it a couple days. I think this is pretty genuine. He just fired off right away and said the stakes are too high. Let's all rally around President Trump. Let's rally around us actually having a democratic process. I think that's awesome for him, and I think that's the right way forward.
He did this when Trump was about to get handed in to New York. You know, he came out right away on the phone in the back seat, right?
Yeah.
And no one else did anything. That was when I was like, "Oh, DeSantis is really weak."
And for this, if Trump for some reason is completely unavailable, Vivek is next in line. Not Nikki, not Ron, not Chris Christie. Yeah. Because Vivek has outright said, I will step aside if they keep playing these dirty games.
Yeah.
And it's a brilliant move. Let's say in the end, he removes himself from the GOP primary and no one else does. Let's say then something happens to Trump, he goes to jail and he's for some reason unable to do it. Trump supporters will select Vivek over anyone else because of his willingness to stand behind Donald Trump.
100%. Yeah.
I don't see how like if Vivek removes himself or whatever, if Trump and Vivek are removed from the running, I feel like that's a win for the establishment. Sure, there's
what if they start something else?
Well, I mean,
we
that's
get a Bull Moose party.
That's possible too. But that would split, and I mean, how it ends up splitting up, is anyone's guess. But I don't think that it would be a positive right now because they're taking Trump off of the primaries and stuff. I don't know. I mean, maybe they could start another party. I'm just going to call it Bull Moose for now, right? And then Republicans, and then we got Kennedy doing his thing, independent, and then the Democrats. Like, it should be interesting if they do it. The Bull Moose Party did not do well, though. No, unfortunately, the third parties never do. I mean, the Libertarian Party's been, struggling for decades.
That actually would be really funny if somehow Trump ends up the Libertarian nominee, and then the Libertarians get like 43% of the vote, and it's like, well, the Republicans are gone. That's it.
Don't worry, the Libertarians hate themselves. They hate everybody. So. They'd hate Trump plenty.
But I would think if the 14th Amendment could keep him off as a Republican, it could just keep him off in general. He'd have to get a write-in in the general election.
Yeah, has that ever happened? Has there ever been like a massive write-in for a candidate?
Not at the presidency.
There's like 6 or 9 states that you can't write someone in. I forget what.
Colorado, one of them.
I'm not sure, but someone was tweeting about it. I retweeted it, but there's like something like 9 states where you can't do a write-in. So that means likely, if he's not on the ballot, that he can't win. At least if he's on the ballot as a Republican.
Right.
I just don't see. I mean, I don't understand. Like I said, first of all, I don't understand the mechanism because he hasn't been found guilty of anything, and I feel like unless you've
doesn't matter, does it?
Apparently, it
does.
doesn't.
Got rid of Santos like that too.
Yeah, I mean Mendez is stuffing gold bars in his.
Well, but he's not even convicted.
No issues there.
What?
Yeah.
He's not even convicted.
No,
I mean, this is the point. We can all sit here and be like, yeah, Santos is a bad dude, but he wasn't convicted of anything.
Yeah, exactly. And due process doesn't matter apparently to the Democrats. This is clear, and I challenge any of my left-leaning or even left liberal friends to give me a reason as to why the Democrats do believe in due process, seeing as you've got Santos and this situation with Trump. I don't see any reason to believe that anything that they say about due process means anything at all to them. So, and I don't know what that means for the, I don't know what that means for the country. This is unprecedented. It's, totally new territory. It's clearly purely political. It's about an outsider who challenges the establishment. Whether or not you like Donald Trump is irrelevant. It's about an outsider that the establishment, the established order disapproves of, and they're doing whatever they can to make sure that he can't get back into office in opposition to what the people seem to want. He is leading the polls and they're removing him. This is to call this Banana Republic stuff is insufficient.
The dude is walking into like stadioms.
Yeah, exactly.
Cheered for.
And the only reason there hasn't been some kind of more action from the public is because of how comfortable society is now. I really believe that because life is so comfortable, not necessarily easy, but comfortable, and people are so sedated on whether it be pharmaceuticals or booze and smoking weed and all those things, which look, I'm not judging anyone that does. I have plenty of history of all kinds of substances and stuff like that, so I'm not dogging anyone. But because of those things, life is easy, life is comfortable, and life is a little on the numb side.
Yes.
Because of that, people aren't looking
It's like I've been saying it's like a pandemic of complacency.
Yeah, nobody wants. Why do you? Life is even a rough life in the West is a good life, and it's an easy
luxurious
life. So why do you really want to go ahead and unless? And this is probably going to upset some people, but unless you are actually mentally ill, which is what the left seems to, the more extreme left seems to go after, because those people are the ones that are the revolutionaries. They're the people that are upset.
Well, this is scientifically proven, actually.
Yeah.
That there's a higher density of mental illness among those who identify as left-leaning.
And so those people go and throw, Molotov cocktails at cop cars, and for some reason we ignore that and just say that's perfectly fine.
And I'd also say a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them don't have kids and don't feel this type of urgency to save the future for children, right? It's all like the luxury, like modern luxury complacency and stuff like that.
So think about when it's the far left going insane and burning things down, and the children grow up in the society of violence and chaos. think about the things they will value when they get older. They're not going to like these people.
Right.
They're going to remember the horrors that they experienced. They're going to remember their family members killed, and they're going to understand struggle and pain, and they're probably going to be more conservative.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, the data's already there. I've said it 50 billion times. The conservatives just have more kids. And now you take any kid, you take the child of liberals, and you introduce them to a world where the far left is burning and destroying everything. These kids are going to live like rabbits, little tightly wound balls of stress and anxiety, and they're going to despise living in that world.
I hope that's the positive outlook, and I try to be optimistic, but it's also they could inherit complete nihilism and not even know any better. It might take much longer for them to understand, a moral center in a lot of ways.
And
like
there can unfortunately
cities,
be a lot of pain between now and
That's the thing.
lot.
And also, like, what kind of establishment gets put in place of the liberal establishment that the Democrats are literally trying to destroy? I don't care. They can give all the lip service they want to democracy. They don't give a crap about democracy at all, and they definitely don't care about liberalism. They've been wearing liberalism like a skin suit for ages. So what kind of government, what kind of structure does it take? And it seems that the structure is going to be more racist, less fair.
100%.
It's going to be less focused on economic growth and more focused on, it seems like it's going to be focusing on shrinking not just the economy, but shrinking the population, because we've got people that are so concerned about what, in my opinion, is climate alarmism. All of these things mean a future that is significantly worse than our recent past, at the very least, possibly significantly worse than any of the horrors of the 20th century. Because if you're doing degrowth, you end up with population collapse. You have like we talk about a crisis of competency now. When you have a population collapse, there are entire industries that disappear. That's how you lose knowledge, because no one learns how to do it from the people that do know how to do whatever the topic is. And then when those people die, that information is lost. Or at the very least, the skill to do it well is lost.
No, it's all gone.
Yeah.
This is the funny thing about people who harp on conspiracies about the moon landing and stuff, questioning how do we lose technology.
He looked at me real quick. I don't know if everyone saw.
Oh yeah,
Tim did look at me.
It's just fascinating that, like, where's you had a laptop. Everyone listening, you had a laptop 5 years ago. Where is it? Go through all the files. Go through your tax documents. Where are your tax forms from last year? Do you remember? I know a lot of you probably do. A lot of people don't. And then they try to log in every year going, what was my PIN? And then they're typing away and they can't get in. Look, you can't even remember where your tax forms are. You're going to remember where some obscure document about radiation shielding is from 40 years ago? Good luck. The population degrowth stuff is basically, we talked about it with Alex Jones on the show when he was talking about Ishmael, the gorilla, and, they want people to return to a living in the wilderness kind of lifestyle. I mean, to be fair, Tucker even said he didn't think technology was helping us the other day. He said, explain to me one technology that made people happy or something to that effect.
Well, COVID essentially showed the regime that as long as you keep the Netflix on, and as long as people can get enough money to go to the store and buy their favorite foods, they will take a obscene amount of oppression that I never would have thought was even believable.
Dude, look, if you can guarantee sunny days, you can absolutely abuse your population. Look at what people do and put up with in California. I mean, I would go out there periodically. I've been out there a few times this year, and it's absolutely beautiful all of the friggin' time.
I love it.
It's absolutely gorgeous all the time. It's so nice that the government can just absolutely abuse the population. It's super expensive. Taxes are ridiculous. They've got, obviously you've got homeless population. I saw a video the other day from 10 years ago of when Gavin Newsom was the mayor of San Francisco, swearing up and down that he's going to clean up the homeless people. A decade later, it isn't any better in San Francisco. It's literally spread to the rest of the state.
He did clean it up when she showed up.
He kidnapped him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's so nice.
I know.
If you get up, when you wake up every day and it's 75 degrees, 350 days of the year, you'll put up with a lot of crap.
Yep.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.